going to hear that us, the Columbuses men, caused the genocide of the Taínos. And the evidence that you're going to hear that supports that are from once upon a genocide that we were lions of ignorance. And according to our indictment, we, without us, there would have been no genocide. And finally, in the same passage, once upon a genocide, that we killed several hundred of Taínos, and it says that in paragraph 5. So, however, in the honest truth, that we were actually victims of our own. We will also state how, according to the timeline that, Spain, Columbus, and Native Americans, 1 month after the land, we were without food and lived in filthy conditions. So that shows that we were under stress ourselves because we were underfed and underappreciated. Sorry. And throughout the passages of timeline, Spain, Columbus, and Native Americans, you can see that we were actually under stress and that Columbus, as it states, controlled us with an iron fist and with fear and pain. You will also hear in this case that we were, without us there would be no genocide. But the true mastermind behind everything was Columbus. In later in the case, you will hear about how in the timeline, Spain, Columbus, and Native Americans, that Columbus ordered forts and towers to be built. And he writes that it is necessary to make the Indians realize that they must serve Spain's king and queen with love and fear. And if Columbus really truly cared about the Indians, why would he want them to fear the people that he wants them to support? He would use love and kindness in order to show that instead of love and fear. Also, it states that 1 month after they landed, Columbus kidnapped 10 Taínos and he gave the order to enslave the people he once called so full of love and without greed. And as I stated before, he really truly cared about someone who truly cared about you to show you that they weren't in for the gold that they had, they weren't in for all the things that they brought over from the New World. They were just there to basically help them and just to get to know them because the Indians hadn't even seen Columbus or any man from Spain at all. Also, you would hear about how King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella helped influence the brutality that the men carried. This is because from once upon a genocide in timeline, Spain, Columbus, and Native Americans. In 1483, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella launched the Spanish Inquisition to root out the Jews who converted to Christianity but still practiced Judaism. This shows that the brutality that the men carried were actually influenced from their home land, and that this basically hierarchical diffusion, the attitude that they carried transfers down to the lower classes. And as I said before, we were called ignorant appliance, so we were of the lower classes. So the brutality we carried was influenced by someone higher than ourselves. Also, from the same same article, in 1498, the king and the queen agreed to Columbus's third voyage. This was already after Columbus paid the king and queen slaves in order to get supplies. So they already knew that there were people there and that they were being enslaved, but they still financed his third voyage in order to get more gold and spices. And lastly, from Once Upon a Genocide, page 27, says during his second voyage in February of 1495, Columbus launched the slave raids against the Taínos of Hispaniola. And so this shows that, as I said before, he showed that he was not being nice to the Taínos of Hispaniola. He showed that he was treating them badly. And so the king and queen financed his voyages just because they valued gold over people. We will also talk about how the Taínos could have fought back. And the evidence we have for this is that in page 79 of Once Upon a Genocide, the Taínos were too trusting and nice to us. Well, that's what Columbus stated, that they were too nice to us and they should have been suspicious and not have let their guard down so easily. It also says that the Taínos killed the leader of the Spaniards on the island, and so that was if they could kill the like an important person of that power, then they could have had enough strength to fight more against the Spaniards. And also it states on page 79 of Once Upon a Genocide that they also ate people. So this shows
It's not proven.
and so this shows that they were capable of doing very dangerous things, but they did not decide to do that at that time. Lastly, we have the system of power, and we also blame the system of power because, as it states in Once Upon a Genocide, Christopher Columbus children's literature, the author states that Queen Elizabeth and King Ferdinand were interested in Columbus's voyage because they wanted tremendous amount of profit and be secure in finding their western passage to the Indies. And basically, they set up a government to where, as I said before, they value gold over people. So this is a problem because if the government funds something that is not right and they know it isn't right, then they could have stopped the whole thing from happening. This could have stopped when Columbus went to Portugal and the Portuguese king thought that he got the calculation wrong. That could have ended there. But no, he went all the way to Spain and he got his approval 3 times, even after they already had proof that the Taínos weren't living well. Also, the European obsession with gold caused the system of empire. And if you put it into perspective, the system of empire is responsible for the genocide of the Taino tribe. And the problem with accusing the system of power is that it's not human. So, really, you're blaming a system that humans made. So it's like, it's not really proven, but really, none of this is proven because throughout the timeline, you can see that everything basically comes from Columbus's journals. And we can go back to how Columbus was the mastermind and everything. Columbus did lie to the king and queen, saying that there was a bunch of gold and there was a bunch of spices, but throughout, all of you guys read, there wasn't that much gold that he found. So, really, we have no clue who's guilty and who's not guilty, but the only thing we know is that we are not guilty, and that is it.